Hi, welcome to Indie Tuesdays, episode 10. I'm your host, Benjamin Dupay, and before we get started talking about some independent comics, I just had a couple quick things I wanted to go over with you. First off, we are having a contest on Twitter, so on the Indie Comic Ninja Twitter page, we are going to have a poll asking what your favorite independent comic book publisher is. So the prize for this contest is Image Comics God Country #1. And all you have to do to be entered into this contest is vote on that poll and retweet the tweet. And then if you want to be entered a second time in it, go ahead and write a comment on there. Just reply to it and talk about what your favorite indie publisher is. So that poll is going to be going on from Tuesday, today, all the way until Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll announce the winner of that contest on next week's Indie Tuesday show. Other than that, I don't really have much else to share with you guys. Be sure and stick around for the post show if you want to this week. We did start doing a post show every week, and all you have to do to listen to that post show is just contribute at least $1 per month on our Patreon page at patreon.com/IndieComicNinja, and that's $1 a month or more for access to our weekly show. Other than that, I will send you guys off to the show.
And then it unfolds inside of you and kills you.
Oh, wow.
I've never heard that.
It's from RealUltimatePower.net, which I don't think it's around anymore, but it was like something that some teenage, I'm imagining a 13-year-old boy put this together. It's a horrible website.
What is this that you're talking about?
RealUltimatePower.net.
Okay.
When we were in high school, it was a thing, and all it was just like this website dedicated to like ninjas being the awesomest things in the world and flipping out and killing everybody. And they had like videos. He had a $5 scholarship he would do every year. He'd mail $5. He would mail people a $5 bill.
That's awesome.
No, it was a great website.
Great.
If it's, I don't know if it's still around. I haven't even bothered looking.
I want that now. Why would you even bring that up?
That'd be awesome to put on your resume.
It's like ninjas
my
versus
scholarship.
pirates.
Yeah, I got a $5 scholarship.
Ninja scholarship. It's pretty good.
So welcome to Indie Tuesdays, episode 10. I'm your host, Ben Dupay.
Romando Burnside.
Andrew Southern.
Dexter Jacobs.
And we are your independent comic book overlords. So how's everyone doing this week?
Fantastic.
Very good.
Yeah? Good week this week? Yeah. Well, anything new going with you this week, Mondo?
Man, just a little OMS hitting me again, usual old man syndrome.
Old man syndrome. It's the worst.
It just takes me. I'm just like, I'm going to play a game. No. And then I'm asleep.
Yeah.
I think every week you tell us how you fell asleep playing some new game.
I know, right?
Picked it up again.
That doesn't speak very highly for the developers, I don't think.
It's not their fault, I promise.
No, maybe Mondo's just narcoleptic, right?
Right, yeah. That's
I know it makes
possible.
me really interested in your podcast.
Yes, right? Yeah. It was really interesting right up until the point where I fell asleep.
I don't know, man. It's just I play so much stuff, and then it's like some nights I'm like, oh, I got all this free time ahead of me. I'm going to play all this stuff, and then I'm sitting there watching TV, and then it's like, boom, 10:30, I'm out.
Shut down.
Yep. It's like I needed it. Every now and again, you got to shut it down and reboot.
Just shut it down. Yep. Mm-hmm. How about you, Andrew? Anything new going on with you this week?
Not a whole lot.
You did the drink and draw on Thursday, right?
Oh, yeah. How
you
was
know
that?
what?
Yeah.
I was going to, and then I started getting sick this week, so I didn't end up going.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working on a commission this week, though. I think you guys probably all saw that, the Boba Fett.
Oh, nice.
Oh, is that a commission?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So
I was thinking that'd make a cool sticker.
yeah.
It would.
I might make some. Yeah.
That would be
should,
really
dude.
cool.
You should.
Yeah,
It'd be
we
fun.
could do
At
some
least have like the
giveaways.
helmet or something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. And Dexter, do you have a good week this week?
Yeah, really busy. That's about it. I don't know. I got to play, like I said, the Rivals for Catan game last night, which was a lot of
try
fun.
that now.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You piqued
It's
my
a
interest.
2-player version. It's all cards. But yeah, there's a lot of extra rules, I think, and so it kind of took us a while. So
Right.
we were up late last night playing it, so we only played one game, and we're already looking forward to the next game.
Typically with Catan, you got to play like one game just to kind of get the thing
Yeah.
get it
Yeah.
down, and then the second time you play it, it's like more strategic.
Oh,
That
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I
But
think that's how I feel.
But I won, so
Oh, well, that's all that matters.
yeah. Usually,
Yeah.
if I lose, it's just like we can't play this
Did
anymore.
you rub it in
I'm
your
done.
wife's face? You know,
Yeah.
ha! And just point at her, and she's like, "No."
Yeah, no, it was really actually a really anticlimactic win. It wasn't.
Dexter's like, yes, and now I'm staying at a hotel. That's what happens when I lose it.
Yeah. My wife is like the most competitive card player ever.
Dude,
it's so not fun.
Second most, dude.
See, my wife wasn't like that until we started playing Catan, and she didn't want to learn, and then she learned, and now she like talks shit to me. She's like, you want some ore? You need more of the ore? Like, I'm not giving you any. And it's like, okay.
It's okay. I have this port.
Guilt trip her into giving me some wood or something, you know.
Well,
I had an
awesome week this week.
Yeah?
Mostly, I wasn't at work a lot of it, so that
That's
probably
always
contributed
awesome.
to it.
That
Although it
helps.
was like there was some, a sickness going on too. But even still,
Everybody's getting sick. I don't want it.
I'm better now.
know, right?
Yeah,
Have you not gotten
I'm
sick
better.
yet, Rando?
My wife
No,
was
I
sick
haven't.
too.
Nice.
Miraculous. Knock on wood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, a great part of this week. So, pretty cool stuff happened with Indie Comic Ninja this
Yeah.
week. We got our first Patreon supporter.
Thank
we
you.
did.
Do you
so
happen
much.
to
It's
have
awesome.
his information on you, Dexter?
In a second, I will.
Okay. Well, while you're pulling that up, we also did get a new iTunes review.
Yeah.
And the girl who gave that to us is, Coraline is Carl's wife's name? Corianne, I believe. Man, I'm the worst. Yeah, Corianne Wilson, and she gave us an iTunes review. She actually writes reviews for us on our website, too. This is pretty cool. So she wrote, "You guys," 3 exclamation points. "Love you all and the fact that you talk about Image Comics. Let's do Wicked and Divine one day."
Oh yeah, that'd be a good
We got
one.
2 of the emojis with the heart eyes and 2 unicorn emojis.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
I'm
yes.
into that.
5-star. Yeah, Wicked and Divine. So we will do that. Do you guys just want to cover like Wicked and Divine Volume 1 next week for us?
Yeah.
Since she was
Cool.
nice
Let's
to take
dive
a
right in.
chance to
That'd be
review.
awesome.
And she has entered into a chance to win the prizes that we're giving away. So now's a good time as any to talk about this a little bit. We're having a contest for the month of January. So all you have to do is give us an iTunes review in the month of January, and you're entered into a contest that we're having. We are giving away 2 items. The first item that we're giving away is a T-shirt that says Indie Comics on it, and it's courtesy of our boy Dexter Jacobs here.
Yay.
He made them for Indie Comic Ninja a while back, and man, these shirts are really nice. They're like made of that. You know, have you ever
It's
bought
like the tri-blend.
Yeah, have you ever
right?
bought a shirt from
Yeah.
like
It's American Apparel.
American
It
Apparel,
is.
yeah. So it's that really soft material, or Ray Gun. You know, they use American Apparel shirts, and it's kind of a retro like baseball shirt looking thing. It's a red shirt, and it has this cool cursive font on the front that says Indie Comics.
It's not
on
100% cotton, is it?
It's a blend.
No.
Yeah, tri-blender. Yeah,
Noise,
but
noise.
very very nice.
Very
And I do have to have a
nice.
shout out. I had them printed at Johnny 5 Apparel out of Iowa City. It's the guy. It's Jonathan Sims who does the comic book Floating Bunny Head.
Yeah, and he's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
I followed that dude on Twitter like
Yeah.
years ago.
And I interviewed him actually for my interview section of this podcast. So if you have a chance, I guess go listen to that. We talk about a Kickstarter that didn't make it, but he does have a coloring book now.
Is that
Cool.
the floating pizza heads thing?
Floating Bunny Head. Yeah.
Or bunny-
Well,
Okay,
no,
yeah.
he
There-
does.
There
I know
is
what
a
you're talking
pizza.
about.
Okay.
There
He
is a
messes all
pizza
of
that's
those.
part of the comic. That's like one of the
Oh,
side
okay.
characters. And I just did find out he's having an art show here in Des Moines, like in April, maybe. It's kind of a ways out. I'll remind everyone when
Yeah.
it comes
Cool,
out.
that'd be awesome.
But it's going to be downtown.
Yeah, I
I'm
saw
looking
that.
forward
I was
to
like,
it,
I'm going
yeah.
to check out his book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks pretty cool.
I think his coloring book's at Raygun. So
Okay.
That's
go
cool.
check that out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's a
he
ring.
just posted it on Instagram.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
So yeah, we are giving away that T-shirt, Indie Comics T-shirt, and we are also giving away a Funko Pop figure, which for people who like those, I don't know, I've never seen them before, but
yeah.
whatever.
As we're
surrounded
like
by,
covered in
like,
Funko
100?
Pop.
All those losers.
We're surrounded by them.
There,
Yeah,
there
we're-
are fewer in here, I feel like, than the
I've
first
gotten
time I
rid
was
of
here.
quite a few and made
Yeah.
some room for my plants. So, we're giving away a Funko Pop figure, but it's not just any Funko Pop figure. This is one that you cannot get anywhere else.
Exclusive.
It's an exclusive. You had to have been signed up for Loot Crate sometime last year. You can't buy it on the stores or in the stores or anything else. It's totally exclusive, and it is a combination of Batman and the Joker. So it's like Batman with the Joker color schemes or whatever. And so,
And a crazy smile, I think.
yeah,
Wasn't it?
crazy
Yeah.
smile. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it looks like Joker if he dressed up as Batman. So, so we're giving those 2 things away. All you have to do to be entered into a chance to win those 2 things is just give us a review on iTunes. And we do also have a sister podcast. It's one where we cover DC comic books. It's called Nerd Church Radio. You can find that on the iTunes Store, Google Play, Stitcher, all that stuff. If you give that podcast a review review as well, you're entered into the contest a second time. So yeah, we got 4 entries so far into the contest. So good chances here so far. So yeah, just throw up a review. We would really appreciate that. And then what's up with the Patreon subscriber we got?
Yeah, so on Patreon we have the one subscriber, J.M. Bryan. He is a comic book, I believe, writer, and he works for a new publishing company. I believe I'm going to be interviewing him. Actually,
that's awesome.
I was planning on doing that before he became a patron, so that wasn't like a thing. But and he has his publishing company, I guess, has a Kickstarter starting February 1st, so we can remind people about that when it happens.
Yeah, we should interview him too for maybe or something.
The writer of that comic.
Yeah, or even the guy that, that runs the publishing.
Yeah, that was my plan.
Oh, okay, you said that. Sorry.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Sorry. Caffeine's still kicking in there. But very cool. And as promised, I said that I would send a graphic novel to the next person who gave us a Patreon donation. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to send him an indie comic, one of the most indie comics that I've read. It's totally creator-made, creator-published. My sister-in-law, Allie, and her friend, Tara, made a comic called Arrow Comics, and it's ARRO Comics, and it's a very, post-apocalyptic...
Very good.
Not post-apocalyptic. It's more just, dystopian. Yeah. There's, this bloodborne pathogen that spreads and stuff. So, so Dexter, did you got his shipping and all that information?
Yeah, got his address. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we will get that out in the mail to you next week. Yeah. And it's a very good graphic novel. Give it a read. Sure. And I think I'm going to interview them in February as well.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah. Thank you so much for that patron donation. He's our first Patreon subscriber.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that being said, we do have a Patreon page where you can donate to us on a monthly basis. It's patreon.com/IndieComicNinja. And basically, when you donate money to us, what you're getting in return is there's donation levels where we send you a sticker pack or other things that you'll see on there, but also you're getting exclusive access to a post show that we do every week where we talk for an extra 30 minutes. So if if this isn't enough of our voices for you to hear, you can pay us to talk to you more. So, and then also...
Okay, so yeah, if you go to shop.indiecomic.ninja, not only can you buy the shirt that we make there, you can hit the donate button and give us a one-time donation to help us out. And that's about it, I guess.
Yeah, so you don't have to contribute on a month. Patreon is cool because they you can donate smaller amounts to people, but it's continual monthly donations that you're giving to people.
It's like a subscription membership kind of thing,
yeah, and that's cool just because we have an overhead for the show that we do. We pay for hosting and stuff, and past that, any donations we get past that is going to go into just us thinking up new creative ways to put out content for you guys. I mean, we want to do YouTube videos, we want to do more shows and stuff, but that's somewhere down the line. And as we grow, we're always going to be thinking up ways to create new content for you guys. So we appreciate that. And we if you don't want to donate and you just enjoy listening to us, we really appreciate the fact that you even listen to us. So yeah, it's great. So now that we're through all that, we can talk about this week's books.
Yeah.
All right, this week, what do we have this week? We have God Country #1, Green Valley #4, Moonshine #4, Motor Crush #2, and Violent Love #3. Holy shit, we have a lot of books this week.
I shouldn't
have talked so long.
I can cut that down. I didn't have a chance to read God Country #1.
I didn't get a chance to read that one either.
Oh, really? I did. But yeah, I'll talk about it a little because it's worth talking about.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah. Well, here, I'll break the seal really quick and talk about that one.
Cool.
So God Country #1, it's written by Donnie, and there's actually a paper copy laying around here somewhere. I don't know where it went. My wife can probably help us out with that.
I got mine.
Okay, cool. Boom. Yeah, can you grab that for them? So God Country #1, it's written by Donnie Cates. Jeff Shaw is the artist, and Jason Wordie is the colorist. So this book, I read it twice. I kind of had to double back. First of all, the first part of this book, I was very focused on the artwork because it's a beautifully drawn book, beautifully colored book.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to read it, yeah.
Yeah, just very, very well done. So it's like out in it just says a long time ago out in West Texas. So it's kind of got that old Texan feel for a setting. You know, you're out in the country in the desert in Texas.
Yeah. Which from being in Texas for a little while, like BFE Texas really, really sucks.
BFE, what's...
Oh, it does. I can agree with that.
Just like when you're out in the middle of nowhere.
What's BFE stand for? I want to know now.
Buttfuck Egypt.
Yeah. That's
oh, really? Okay,
yeah. You never heard that?
I'm
sorry,
dropping a new acronym on y'all.
I'm sorry.
No, I figured it was something
you
like
all
that.
over Texas.
I love it, man.
It's huge, and it's like a barren wasteland, most of it.
Seriously. Yeah, it really is. Like, other than Dallas, Houston, and Austin, like, the rest of Texas just... No offense to you Texans who are listening, but like,
well, yeah, no
allowed there. Not allowed out there.
That's where they film where most of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres are supposed to take place.
Waco,
in
right?
the movies.
Oh, just the middle of nowhere.
I love
Texas.
those movies so much too.
Yeah.
I'm such a huge horror fan.
Don't go driving out in the middle of nowhere in Texas.
Yeah,
you will die. You will get.
Sometimes I feel that way about middle of nowhere Iowa.
Yeah,
same.
Yeah.
No, but like middle of nowhere Texas is worse than middle of nowhere.
It's
Iowa.
creepy.
Yeah.
It really
creepy.
is.
I've heard.
It's very creepy.
I've heard. So yeah, that's where this takes place. We're out in the country. Time period's kind of unknown, but I get a feeling that it's around this, current time period. Mm-hmm. And we kind of see like this old guy who has Alzheimer's, and his son and the son's wife and child are there, and the son's kind of taking care of him. And I guess the guy has caused some problems with police or whatever. The Alzheimer's older man with Alzheimer's, and the police, have had to draw guns on him and calm him down and stuff. So the wife is like, I'm leaving you, man. We came out here to take care of your pops, and this is not cool. It's no fun. This sucks. I'm taking our kid and I'm getting out because your dad's dangerous. So she starts driving away from the house, and all of a sudden a giant, like this looks like an F5, and this double splash page of the tornado is really cool looking. Yeah. Very, very nicely colored. So the mother and daughter are driving towards it, and the tornado hits the house, and the tornado is about to suck this old man up into it, and I thought he was done for. I thought he was gone. So then we cut to the mom and the kid, and this is where things get paranormal or whatever, but this monster starts trying to attack the kid, and out of nowhere, this old man with Alzheimer's just attacks this monster with a giant sword and kills it. And that's where the current events kind of hang off, but we get some narration of them talking about it began here with a storm, an old man, his family, a demon, an ancient, indestructible, enchanted 12-foot sword, and then the last splash page is this god floating out in space, and it says, and the god who wanted it back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I didn't... So at the start of this, I did not think this was going to be a paranormal story at all. I thought this was going to be an out-in-the-country story with drama and stuff. But it kind of pulled a Moonshine type thing on me where, like, in Moonshine, it lasted, like, 2 issues where I didn't think that it was paranormal at all. And at the end of the second issue, you see werewolves. Well, in this one, end of the first issue, you see monsters. And this old man, who everyone thinks has Alzheimer's, is, he's, like, some kind of protector or something.
Well,
and he has a 12-foot sword.
It says Emmett Quinlan was a god, so he must be a god?
Yeah, or he's someone who stole a sword from a god.
Yeah. Right. That makes sense.
It could be something like Thor's hammer, where it gives him the powers of a god or something. So,
and just skimming it right now, like,
it looks interesting.
I definitely want to read the rest of it. Like, and just being interested in what that the prequel story will be about, how he got his powers.
Yeah, it's very good, man. Yeah. I was very happy that I read this one. I was on the fence about it just because I was kind of jammed for time this week.
Glad I brought it up then.
Yeah, I am too, and I'm always on Image #1s. I mean, I really enjoy those. So this one was really good. Andrew, what do you think about the artwork in this one?
It's really like solid.
Yeah,
it's well drawn. It's really gritty though.
Yeah, very
sketchy.
I like that.
Yeah. If you're into that sort of thing, you will dig that.
It almost reminds me of, has anyone read Outcast?
No.
Okay, Outcast is wonderful, and
listen to some Outcast this morning.
No, very different from that. No, Andrew, you would not like Outcast. It's a very horror, kind of gross story.
Demon hell figures.
Yeah, okay. And like black sludge coming out of people's mouths, like projectile vomiting. Yeah, you would not be into it.
Why would you read that?
Well, because it's awesome. And Robert Kirkman wrote it.
Well, because Andrew wants nightmares,
Kirkman.
of course.
Yeah. Make my nights intense.
In my personal opinion, I think Robert Kirkman hasn't hit his writing stride in this book. I think it's better than Walking Dead. And Ariel, do you think Outcast is better than Walking Dead? It's hard for you. Yeah, my wife is a
She's
huge...
like, you put me on the spot.
Does he write that Invincible book, or is that somebody else?
No, he doesn't. I don't believe so. Don't quote me on that.
I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah.
But Outcast also has a TV show on Stars too. And it's and it's very good. So
that's
right when
so that is.
I didn't know that those were connected. I guess that's nice.
Really? I didn't know that was based on that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it. I saw like something about it, like, and then like in the guide, I saw it on there before. I was like, oh, okay, Outcast, whatever. I didn't know that was attached to something like this.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
Right when I found out they were making a TV show based on Kirkman's book, though, the comics were only at like number 6, so I bought like 3 copies of number 1 because. Right now, Walking Dead number 1 is worth like thousands of dollars. So I went out and bought all the number 1 through 6, and I have the complete collection of that book. Just in prep, if it does skyrocket. Not that I would ever sell. We always joke about that because it's like you buy things because you think they're going to be valuable, but in honesty, would I really ever let any of that go?
Probably you just pass it on to your kids and you give them a lecture first.
Yeah.
If you ever sell this.
I learned that lesson kind of the hard way too, because when I got back into comics, I bought a lot of the X-Force comics, and those you could sell those for a lot of money on eBay almost as soon as they came out, and I made a ton of money. And then I was just like, oh, maybe collecting comics won't be so bad. I'll just sell the ones that I don't want anymore. And then quickly found out nope, that's not how it always works.
I think every comic reader has gone through a phase like that where you didn't realize what you've done. Like my dad gave me a stack of comic books when I was probably like 13 or so, and it's like old stuff like Conan and like old Wonder Woman, and all that stuff, just this big stack. I remember sitting out and selling some of them to my friends at one point. I was like, I need some extra money. I want to go to the mall,
Yeah.
He would kill me.
Well, it's a very fickle thing, too. Like, man, Spawn number 1 used to be worth a lot of money, and now you can find a copy for like $10. Walking Dead number 1 is worth a lot of money now. When they stop making that show 10, 20 years from now, the value on that is going to just plummet. So that's why I bought a few issues of number 1 Outcast, because it's like, if it ever does skyrocket, I can sell those couple issues and keep mine for myself.
How long has that show been going on?
I think it's on its 2nd season right now. Really? But it's very, if you're into paranormal stuff, like Paranormal Activity or stuff like that, it's very demon. The Exorcist, I guess, is what I would compare it to.
How did this escape my?
Yeah, it's good, man.
My radar.
Yeah, you gotta check it out. Okay. I really, and the comic is like. Or the TV show is like shot for shot of the comic. So,
oh wow,
yeah. Okay. So on Indie Tuesdays, Indie Comic Ninja, we have a new rating system. We are not going to use the church rating system because that doesn't really make sense anymore. I don't know why I didn't think about that when we moved over here, but we are no longer a part of Nerd Church Radio. We're a part of Indie Comic Ninja. So the way that we rate things now is throwing stars. How many throwing stars do we? Is that right? Or ninja stars?
Ninja stars. Right. Maybe we should do some more research. Yeah.
we're using a star rating system.
Basically,
now.
It's just stars. We're just calling them throwing stars.
Yeah. So out of 10 stars, I give this one 7 out of 10. I think it's a very good book. Yeah. I think I would say great book. It's 7 out of 10 for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry.
We're all having trouble with those mics today. So yeah, you guys should definitely check it out though, if you have time. It's a good read. It only takes a couple seconds to read it too. So
I felt like just skimming it. While you were talking, so I guess I didn't have to read all the dialogue, but I got the gist of it. But definitely looking forward to reading it.
Yeah. I love that logo too. I don't know.
The way they did that, that's awesome.
The God Country logo.
Yeah.
Image books are always like the graphic. They do
a very good job.
They have comic book artists, right? But like the graphic designers that design the covers and stuff. For them.
Yeah, they do a great job.
A lot of times that's the letterer.
It's so creative. Like when I see some of that, it's kind of like poster art too. It's like I would have never thought of like that composition for that.
Yeah. I'm talking about like they have one set of graphic designers, I think, that design their covers and stuff.
Oh, because I've been doing like some research on lettering, and the book that I have said that a lot of times the letterers will do the logos.
Really?
And like even here it says John J. Hill, letterer and design. So
that could.
Oh, cool.
Maybe. Yeah. You would know more about it than I would.
Legit,
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, their typography work on all of their marketing and stuff is just. Hands down, so good. Even books I don't like that Image does, the covers are damn pretty, So,
they could all be posters, dude.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I'm sure they are.
If I had more wall space, I would do that.
Right.
All right, cool. So, who wants to go next?
Don't all dive in at
I
once.
can go up.
Yeah, what do you got for us?
The water's
I did.
fine.
What was it? Motor Crush.
Andrew, you got Motor Crush?
Yeah, yeah. And so it was cool actually because last time we read this book, it's about Domino Swift, street racer, and she got into some trouble for stealing these drugs that like make you better, basically.
Yeah.
Performance enhancing drugs, right?
Yeah.
Which I was confused,
As
and
an
I'm still a
inhaler.
little confused. Is it something you put in your bike, or if it's something? I think it's
I was
both.
I was a little confused too for that.
I assumed it was not like a NOS kind of thing.
It was both, yeah.
Or nitrous oxide, yeah.
Yeah, but it's also something you ingest.
But
Well,
yeah,
but
well-
she was inhaling it with the inhaler.
Right.
So yeah, and we find out in the second book.
Okay.
So it's interesting. So her mechanic got killed for supposedly stealing or looking for Crush from from basically like the drug dealers. And so it kind of comes out in the start of the second book. She's talking to her dad, who's also like on her street team, like racing team, that the mechanic died and that she's like in with this Crush. But we find out that her dad already knew like all this stuff. So
and that was a big surprise to me that
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
father knew she took
and
Crush.
it made me kind of relieved, like in terms of like the book and like I don't like when you have to dance around. Oh no, she's lying and she's this and that. Like
Right.
they're like kind of in it together and they just sort of are like, this is not what the story's about or whatever.
Right.
And they kind of went more on because she goes, where am I from? You know, like how come this affected the mechanic? Because the mechanic basically died from like a crush
Exploded
overload.
from the
He just-
inside.
dude,
Yeah.
explosion, yeah. And she like drank a vial at the end of the second or the first book, and she was fine. And she's like, you know, like what's the deal? Like what am I? And we find out that she's basically like an adopted daughter, or this guy like found her somehow and raised her as his own. So it was cool. Like it just made me rethink what I thought of it the first time, because I thought maybe this is a niche book, maybe it's more about racing,
Right.
But it's a lot deeper than that.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the second book, man. Like, and in fact, so the art style, it's Babs Tarr. It's the same team we talked about as Batgirl.
Yep.
And it reminds me of this guy named Ben Caldwell. I don't
Okay.
know if any of you know him. He's actually he's on DC. He does I think it's called Prez or something like that. Prez. Have you heard of that?
I don't know. No.
Well, it's kind of cool because I was trying to think of like who this reminded me of, and he's just I have
he
one of his
does.
drawing books, and it's cartoonish, but he's also like
yeah, I'm looking at his art on Google right now. It
Yeah.
does.
It's
It
good
does kind of
style,
remind
though.
me of
yeah
it.
he's
Yeah.
he's
yeah,
he's
yeah.
a good one to check out. I love his stuff. So
sure.
Like
Yeah.
I even love that initial cover page, you know, with the girl on the back.
oh
of the bike.
yeah, I do
Yeah.
too.
Amazing. I
And
love
dude,
it.
I know this is a comic, but like chicks on bikes are like it's kind of hot, man.
I mean, there's no kinda to it. Take the
Yeah,
kinda off.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
You're
gonna
not
I'm gonna
wrong,
say that,
Andrew.
man.
You're not wrong.
Just gonna say that. So
No, you're good.
yeah, no, I really enjoyed this, and you kind of see about Domino. They call her Dom.
When
Her,
she has
her relationship with
her
her
ex-girlfriend.
ex-girlfriend comes back in, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It just adds another like dynamic to this story that
We also didn't know she was gay, so that's a little more
yeah
character development.
You know,
on her.
I thought though, I thought in the first book there was like some allusion to it. I can't remember why I thought that, but it did.
I mean,
it didn't come as a
makes
shock
sense,
to
though.
me.
I mean,
But
she's a spunky chick, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I totally, I mean, not to say.
well, she's very
stereotype or
like
anything like
she's
that.
boyish, right? Like from
Yeah.
her haircut to her style to like like typical.
Well,
everything.
and her ex is very not boyish.
Yeah, she's a very
Lola?
girly girl.
Right.
Yeah,
like
Lola.
works at a bar, and so we found out too that her ex ends up being in trouble with the same people that she stole these drugs from.
The Domino stole.
Domino
the drugs
stole
from, yeah.
in the end of the first
And those
book.
guys, they pretty much have control of all the crush in town.
It's
Yeah.
like,
for
Yeah.
the most part. Yeah.
They're like the mafia, pretty much.
yeah, exactly.
And so this book kind of ends with just her being like, okay, like we're both in trouble right now, and she's trying to save both of them by racing. And so she finally reveals, because up till now she's been known as Cricket on this street race,
Yep.
and she finally reveals herself as Domino Swift, the popular racer
Yeah.
or whatever.
The
so
legitimate race.
Yeah.
Because the mafia guy was going to kill her, and when she goes
Yeah.
to try and negotiate Lola's freedom or whatever,
it was
like,
actually
hey,
it was actually a cool line. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like, here's some crush. I'll repay you with all the crush that we stole.
I'll
And
just
they're
keep paying
like,
you every time I win.
yeah, and he goes, "You're giving a drink of water to an ocean or whatever."
Yeah, he's like that's like offering a glass of water to someone who owns the ocean.
He's
or
like,
something.
"Make me
Yeah.
a real offer. I'm going to kill you right now."
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, Man, I don't know. I was on the fence about this book last time because I didn't want it to be just like a Fast and the Furious type thing.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a little more interesting, and I think we got some really good character development. I really like Lola, personally, just because that's my guitar's name is Lola. So
she looks like a hotter version of like Jem.
I know it is. It is a nice.
Maybe
guitar.
I'm showing my age. I don't know.
It is a nice guitar. I agree with you. She is very hot.
No, well, and there was another thing to this story where she kind of has a vision about her ex. I don't know if y'all caught that
at the beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning. So like, it makes me wonder, like if she's even human or if she's part like mechanic or so. Like, you know what I mean? Because there's something more to her than just we know about.
Yeah, and I want to know what happened. I hope they jump back and give us that blackout of what happened when she drank the whole thing.
Because she just wakes up.
Yeah, she gets away, but they don't tell you how she does it. She just wakes up at home and she's like, "How did I get here? What happened?"
Right when I started the issue, I was a little bummed that they didn't pick right up where they left off.
Yeah.
You know, but
I know because I was like, did I miss? Because I missed a week there or 2 weeks, and I was like, wait, did I like miss one of these books?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, but I'm glad they didn't. You know, I like the
little suspense,
the non-linear storytelling.
Yeah,
sometimes.
and they did that too with when you find out what deal she made in order to not die with the drug dealers or whatever.
Right.
They didn't tell you right away. They kind of like
jumped to something else, then came back to what she said.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not linear, and I like that too. About it.
It's kind of like a movie though in that way, where sometimes a movie doesn't always go right down the line. It jumps to something else, and it's like, oh, let me show you what happened over here while that was happening.
Well, I mean, it is a movie. I don't know. I kind of always view comics as movies, and that's why sometimes a lot of the storytelling in DC especially seems really cheesy to me and like really kind of bad, because it's like I picture some of that crap happening in movies and I'm like, man, this would be so stupid if this happened in a movie. But with this one, that non-linear stuff.
That's how I feel too.
I like it when it does that.
You see it in Pulp Fiction. And, I mean, that's like the original, the OG like non-linear storytelling right there. I mean, and that's a very extreme version of it or whatever.
Have you seen Memento?
Oh God, that will blow your mind.
The whole movie's backwards.
You can't, really? And you cannot like stop it and keep. Yeah, you have to pay attention. Like no phones and stuff. Just sit there and watch it.
The main character has no short-term memory, so the whole movie is his like bursts of memory going backwards in time.
Okay.
So you only literally know as much as he knows.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But
I tried watching.
Very nonlinear.
I tried watching Blade Runner and I didn't devote my full attention. We may have talked about that.
I think we did.
Yeah.
This is not like that.
No.
Though.
Well, no, but in the same way that it's something you need to devote your full attention to.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it, because I was like you in the first book where I was like, this might be a little too predictable, but just the way that they did things in the second book and developed things, it's definitely not as predictable. And that
I agree. I was very happy that I read the second issue. So, what star rating on this one?
You know what, man? Just because I love this art team and I dig what they're doing, I'll just give it an 8. Like 8 stars.
That's cool.
I love the art. The story's cool. Chicks and bikes.
Ninja stars.
I give it a 7. I think 7.5.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So
I'd agree with Andrew.
It doesn't have me quite to an 8 or 9 yet, but I think that
it's going to get there.
Yeah, I do think that I'll get there with it. It's just I'm not quite there yet. I mean, the first book was like I think probably a 6 for me, and it's gotten up to 7.5 I think for me. Did anyone else read this?
Yeah, the hooks are definitely in me as far as this book goes. I would probably give it about a 7.5 or an 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ninja stars.
And one of the reasons I rate it high is again just because the artwork. Like if you're into toonish type artwork, this is the characterization in this. I love it.
The colors pop too. Man.
Oh yeah,
I
the
love
colors,
the colors,
is great.
the pinks, and it looks great.
Yeah, who's the colorist on this? We should shout them out again.
Did we say the creative team on this?
It's Brendan Fletcher, Cameron Stewart, and Babs Tarr. So the colorist is Heather Danforth.
Okay, cool.
And production assistant.
She does a great job.
Yeah,
and it's very playful kiddie style artwork, but it still has an adult feel to it. There's still like some things. I think it's about the coloring that makes it a little adult, or some of the halftones that they use, which is kind of like, do you know what I'm talking about, Andrew, with the halftones?
Yeah.
Yeah, just some of it gives.
Well,
it a little,
and it's language too. Like, it's very casual and very like there's swearing in it and sex and stuff like, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it just gives it a little grit to me, like the halftones, and there's something not so clean about the artwork at times. Like it's a little dirty and messy, and like I like that. I think it's intentional, and I enjoy it. So very good movement in this book too. Like I really like seeing like people fight or people race bikes. I mean,
like the action in this is fantastic.
The bike scenes are always very well done. Yeah, especially like you see that one where they're driving off on the bike and it's like across the bottom of the page. It does a great job with that kind of stuff.
I still think I would love to see this art team do a flash book. I think
that would
be awesome.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Well, they handle movement well, so they definitely do well in that.
Well, and there's some artists that just can't get a hold of it. Like sometimes the Flash's movements seem weird and like
probably too stiff, right?
Yeah, just they don't seem real. You know, it's like you don't feel like you're watching someone move at light speed or whatever. And like with this, like I think you can either do it or you can't, and these guys definitely have that capability. So
one last thing though too, I wanted to point out when they put the crystal into the bike, and at the bottom it shows like the miles per hour, like 185 miles an hour. It's like he hits a boost, and you kind of get that feeling just from looking at the picture. Like, okay, this dude is flying.
He's flying,
yeah. So it's really, really cool, man. Nice. I loved it. Awesome. So what do we got up next?
Do Shipwreck?
I actually didn't read the first two yet.
Whatever,
so
man.
yeah. Sorry.
Whatever, man.
I kind of want to wait on that one.
Yeah,
till
I do
we've
too.
all read it. So, or at least two of us have read it.
Right.
I want to read that one with you guys. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, and we got some access to the review copies for Aftershock now.
No.
Oh, cool.
So
Dexter got that for us.
Well
done,
thanks, man. That's awesome.
Good job.
I'll see if I can get the earlier copies, I guess.
Yeah, kick ass.
But no, this it's a very trippy story, and I'm really excited to talk about it. But because it's so trippy, I want to make sure I definitely want to make sure somebody else has read it.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure. I just want to see like if somebody else is getting the same vibes that I'm getting and stuff.
Bounce ideas off of like
absolutely.
AD.
Yeah,
see
for
if
sure.
come up with different things.
I agree. So
yeah, why not?
All right, cool. So what next? Do you guys want to do
some Green
Valley?
Green
Yeah, that's what I was
I've
going to
been
say.
waiting for this one.
Yeah, I really
because all I got to say
Dinosaurs.
is shit goes down.
Dude, I love this.
As
this
if
book
things
I was
weren't
just
crazy enough. Like now we have fucking dinosaurs. It's like what the heck? Like it's like have you read this? No, you should. Ariel.
And I just like to say like I remember when we were kind of trying to pick out books in the beginning. We're like, there's this Green Valley one. Looks like it might be okay, like Knights and stuff.
I can't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was just like, holy crap, this is awesome.
And it tricked us, dude. It was so
funny
good.
too. Like I laughed at a few parts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
real
it's a
subtle funny.
the comedy in this book is just
Yeah.
gold. It makes me actually laugh. So
I have a hard time as a graphic designer getting past the covers.
Yeah.
Because, and I think it's intentional. It's like they're trying to look like an old like 80s like Dungeons and Dragons cover, or
actually,
like old Atari games almost is what I get the feeling of.
The creator,
like Wizards in Warcraft or whatever it's called.
The creator did used to play D&D, and that was he got into tabletop RPGs.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
Yeah,
that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it does.
And to be honest, like since I
that.
read like on my devices, like I usually just like breeze past the cover. Like I'm like, okay, I get it. I know what I'm reading.
I love the covers, man. Makes me want to save them and use them for like
Yeah, I do too.
Do a screenshot and make it your background.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it makes me want to do that, but I never do.
Yeah. So it's Green Valley number 4. It's written by Max Landis, penciler and cover by Giuseppe Commensali, maybe. Inker Cliff Rathburn, color is Jean-Francois Boulier. You like that? I got that down.
That was good. Nice.
You've been practicing.
And letterer Pat Brosseau. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead here. So, so you want to recap this one for us, Mondo?
Yeah, why not, dude?
Yeah, or a slight, loose recap or whatever.
So they basically pick up right after the battle with the quote-unquote the wizard, and Birchwild, he's healing. They're all basically licking their wounds from the fight, from having that with him.
Yeah, because that wizard killed one of them.
Oh, they decimated them, and they take out Indrid, I believe is his name. Blew a hole through him, if we remember correctly last time.
Straight through his chest.
Which I still don't know how he got those last couple words off.
Missing like half of his body.
It must have. I think it cauterized the wound while
there you go.
Going, kind of like a lightsaber does.
I don't need lungs or anything to talk to you. I'm just gonna.
Oh, that's a good point.
That is a because comics moment.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
That is the epitome.
He's like, come closer,
of that.
closer. But
comics,
not so close.
But but they start pretty much bickering amongst themselves, because they basically have a reason to fight again, and so they're kind of arguing about how to go about this, what they should do. they're also licking their wounds from Indrid dying, so they're kind of like trying to mourn, but yet they have a job to do now, you know?
Right.
They can't sit here and just, you know, feel sorry for themselves. And so they're basically trying to get ready to go figure out where this wizard is and like where he stays. They're going to go off into the woods and check him out. And so there's a little bit of banter about that. They burn Indrid just so they can go ahead and send him, you know, off and everything, give him a night's, you know, leave. Mm-hmm. They go off into the woods, and this is where it gets kind of crazy because they hear noises and everything, and all of a sudden, freaking raptors come out of the woods.
Yeah.
And they're fighting like 3 of them.
I love it.
Now, and the weird thing about the raptors, too, I noticed, they have like these glowing like necklaces around their necks, like someone's controlling.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the first thing I thought. Was like, someone's controlling these things. Someone who brought these things here.
Well, it'd be that wizard guy from
Right.
Oh, yeah. He's somehow...
Future past.
Must have gone to the past, gotten the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
There's a lot we missed about his character. We don't know anything. Like, they could write a whole book on this serial dude.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Max Landis is going to devote an entire issue at some point to, like, here's our villain.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was explained in the first, because I don't think I read the first 2 yet.
No, it has not yet been explained.
Okay.
Yeah. But some of the humor does come back in this episode, in this book, that I thought was funny. The one in particular was when, I believe it was Bertwald.
Yeah, the rebel yell.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That was awesome.
What now?
So good.
I must have missed that.
So it's like what's his name? Bertwald?
The Dragon Slayer?
No, it's not Bertwald, it's the other guy.
The guy with the dark hair, wears the helmet all the time. Like the girl is like, it's like, I brought you this, and then he's like, oh, for luck, kind of like a garland or like a little necklace.
There's a necklace, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
goes,
the helmet.
He's like, you think I need luck? And he's just like, well, I think good luck can always be better. And he goes, oh, how's a woman like you not found a husband? And she says, well, how's a knight like you not found a helmet that actually fits? And he goes, and he just rides away.
And that's actually a call out to the very first line of the very first book when they're talking about, like, oh, my helmet doesn't fit.
And making fun of his helmet.
Yeah, and he's like...
waiting for the barbarians to come down.
Yeah. Now I'm not going to stop thinking about it.
No, this is the one I'm thinking about. What's this guy's... I can't remember his name.
That's the scene I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, so he's like... the one
that was lying about the dragons.
Yeah, the lying knight. We'll just call him the lying knight. He's like looking out in the woods, and he's like freaked out because he hears like these raptors like roaring, and then somebody frightens him, and he's like ugh, and like kind of screams a little, and he's like, no, I'm manly yelling into the woods, you know.
It's a primal yell,
and they kind of yell for a minute together, and then they go, that's enough of that.
I do it to release pent-up aggression. Manly aggression.
Like, I laughed really hard at that.
And then the guy was like, sounds right to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. See, like, that could be on, like, that's like an Adult Swim or, like, Cartoon Network type of, like, what moment, you know?
I do think this could be like a film or something.
Well, and I feel like scenes like that, and especially the bigger helmet thing, it definitely feels like a group of guys sitting around a table playing D&D, you know? Just joking around while they're playing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, very, very good camaraderie between the three of these guys, and the jokes are just... If the jokes weren't in this book, I would not be interested at all. Like, it just...
It'd be too serious then.
I'm not normally into the Knights and Kings things, so that it loses points on me for that just because that's not my bag, but, like, the humor... Man, like, this is one thing that I can't put it down, man. I love it, personally.
There's his name. The Dragon Slayer's name is Gulliver.
Yeah. Gulliver, okay.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think's up with the villain on this one?
Dude. Well, he's not even in this issue, is he?
No, but I'm just saying in the story arc, like, any ideas on...
That was the interesting thing. So he's collecting... We found out he's collecting metal in this.
Yeah.
So he's obviously building something, but I don't know if it's like a time machine, like maybe his time machine got busted, so he's like trapped here.
I think that's my guess.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's looking for plutonium or
something.
Yeah. Plutonium.
And of
back
course,
to the Future.
Of course, that
was my best Doc impersonation.
miles an hour.
Marty.
I love it.
Why would you make a deal with the Russians?
Pasta. But I mean, more than likely, obviously he has material. He needs certain materials in order to keep this thing going. And if you go into the past, you get stuck there. Obviously, those materials haven't been made yet or they don't exist. So how do you get around that?
And the Knights did figure out that his phone is or his device, whatever, gives him all his power. They're like, if we can get that away from him, then we'll be able to beat him.
He's like, he's willing to kindle fire. We have to get it out of his hands. It's like
kindle fire. Of course.
It's an HD.
Mine doesn't do that.
Right? I don't know.
I wonder how this guy got a hold of velociraptors too. Like he's
It's
not a very
crazy.
strong. You remember he's kind of a frail looking hipster dude.
Yeah.
Well, he's like a tech geek.
Yeah.
So, like he's got some way of like controlling them.
He looks like
yeah.
It'd be
Loki with a
interesting-
leather jacket on.
Yeah.
And boots.
It'd be interesting to see if he has more tech than just that weird tablet that can.
Well, he definitely does, right?
Yeah.
Because like those necklaces or whatever the raptors are
Yeah,
wearing.
so there's something. So maybe he has. It'd be interesting. Like maybe he has like a robot too. That,
Oh yeah, like helping him build stuff or something.
Yeah.
or help him
Yeah.
like knock out a dinosaur to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's
Like
no way that dude would be like, yeah.
He has like
Yeah.
a tech castle with a bunch of stuff just protecting it that they've never seen
Sounds
before.
cool, a tech castle.
Yeah. I want one. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I need one.
Yeah.
So star ratings on this one.
Man, I don't know. I'd probably say an 8. 8 ninja stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah,
It's up
I'm
there.
probably 7 to 8.
Okay.
I'm probably
Yeah.
right there with you.
I'd say 7.
Yeah,
I'm not like super into it, but
yeah. That's
I
the thing.
enjoyed it.
It's
Yeah.
it's just like it's unpredictable enough
Yeah.
for me to keep me wanting to read more.
I think the previous issue when they revealed his tech and that who
Yeah.
like he was
Yeah.
from the future or something like that, I think that boosted it up more
Same
for
here.
me.
Yeah.
that
Like
issue.
the-
So the first one I was probably say lower. Then that one was like a peak.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It jumped way up. I was like, oh, this has me now. And this
I-
one was kind of like a little more the same, but not quite at the reveal like the last one was.
I'm having trouble really connecting with some of these like knights in particular.
I have a hard time remembering their names.
Oh,
Like I
yeah.
hate not being able to
Well, yeah,
remember their
that-
The
names.
only
for
one I
sure.
remember is Bertwald, and he's like the main.
Well,
main
now
one with the
Gulliver.
grow hair, and then Gulliver, yeah, but and Indrid because he's dead now.
yeah,
but
Yeah.
who's the other dude? Like his best friend? I forget his name.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm terrible with names. Just period. Yeah,
I do enjoy the art though. That definitely picks it up for me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I give it an 8. I
Yeah.
enjoy it. I think it's a great book.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 for sure.
When you loved the dinosaurs,
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
raptor.
do.
We got a text this
you had to
morning.
text us all about
Dude,
it.
raptors.
that's all they said.
I know.
Dude, Raptors.
Yeah, I know. It was great, man. It made me so happy.
If I hadn't read it, I'd be like, "What are you talking about? It's like 6
Yeah.
in the morning. What are you doing?"
Right? Yeah.
You watching Jurassic Park again?
Yeah,
I do really like the cover of the next one at the end of the book where it's kind of getting
Yeah.
like the digital effect with the raptor claw.
I agree.
That's
yeah.
nice.
All right, cool. So we're going to move things along here. We got Violent Love, number 3. Did anyone else read this one?
yeah.
No?
I forgot we were
I
covering.
did.
Okay, cool. So the cover is awesome. It's just a dog holding a hand that's clenching a gun, and the hand is not connected to a human being. So it's just like a severed hand. This is pretty cool. So we're kind of picking back up with Daisy. So New Mexico, 1971, we get a little foreshadowing. There's this just horribly bloody crime scene where these cops are investigating. Then we jump back to Daisy, who she's just kind of snuck her way into this gang's house where she's looking for information on Johnny Nails. And there's a guy being held there that knows where Johnny Nails is at. And that's the guy who killed her father or whatever. So we jump over to her. She kind of wormed her way into this gang hideout or whatever. And the leader of the gang has someone who knows where Johnny Nails is in the basement. He's holding him captive. And he's like, I'll let you talk to this
I'll give
guy
you
for
5
5
minutes.
minutes
Yeah.
if you hang out with me for a little bit after, if you know what I mean. So yeah, she agrees to do that. And she's asking him this guy questions. And while this is happening, I guess like rival gangs, or it's someone who was helping her earlier in his gang of like kind of greasers.
I
or
want to
whatever.
say it was Casanova calls the guy.
Yeah, Casanova, yeah.
had-
Freaking Casanova, man. That name. It's gotta go away.
Oh, come on.
that's like one of your passwords. You're like
Seriously,
Casanova
right?
1 2 3.
So Casanova and his gang shows up and just shoots up this house full of gangs.
Well, they come in and he tries to negotiate. He's like, "Hey, just hold on before we all start flipping out or whatever. I just came here for A, B, and C." And they're like, "Screw you, man. Put your gun down. You put yours down." And then the Casanova guy just busts in. He's like, "I got this," or was it the other way around?
I think
I think it was the Casanova
Yeah,
guy. But
yeah,
he busts in while he's trying to negotiate, and then the shootout ensues.
Yep. And they save Daisy right as she's about to be killed by the leader of this gang thing. And as this is happening through all this, Daisy finds out that Johnny Nails is in Texas. And this blonde greaser guy, which I don't know his name yet, they're still just calling him Greaser, I think. They may have given his name or whatever.
Yeah.
But he gives Daisy a gun. And at the end of the book, it says, but truth be told, I think for the first time, Daisy felt alive. She felt dangerous, and damn, did she like it. And it shows her with like a gun or whatever. And, obviously from here, she's going to go after Johnny Nails or whatever. And, so that's kind of where we leave off or whatever. But I loved it, man. I think it's super tropey. Casanova, point in case, they're just greasers, and I mean it's like watching an old crime drama unfold, and it's intentful. I mean, it's purposefully tropey, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I can see it if it was made into a movie or a show. I can see them using like the intense moments, you know what I mean, and dragging those out a little bit, just to kind of ramp it up. I can see them using that stuff, like when they're interrogating the guy and he's outside the room, like, you got 2 minutes, hurry up, and all that stuff. I can just see it being really good.
I think the Greasers guy's name, they said it in the second issue, or the last one that we did, it's Rock Bradley.
Yep, okay, there it is.
Yep,
there
you're right.
Is.
Yeah,
well
you are correct.
Rock Bradley. That just sounds, I don't know what that sounds like.
I feel like it should be Brock Radley.
Right. just changing it up.
They just kind of switched it around.
I still don't know how I feel about some of the artwork.
That's what I was going to say.
I have a hard time getting past the artwork, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan, but
yeah, I have to agree.
Some of
I love the coloring. I love the cover, which we've talked about them before.
Yeah. The covers are beautiful, yeah.
The colors are really, really good. But just the artwork is just...
I will say
the
this,
characterizations are weird.
It has its ups and downs for me personally.
It does,
like there's times where I'm like,
well, it's kind of it's inconsistent
nice
though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Where every now and again there'll be a nice page where you're like, oh, that's really nice right there, and then boom, back down to the.
Well, man, there's some of the pages where like the panel layout was just so confusing.
Yeah.
Like where Casanova busts in or whatever. That whole page is so freaking confusing, man. There's like white boxes on top of panels, and you don't know where to look next. I mean, it starts at like 4 and goes down to 1, but it starts in the middle of the page and goes up. I don't know, man. I
agree.
I mean,
totally
like,
agree.
If I concentrate long enough and stare at it long enough, I'm sure I can figure out the sequence of events. But the honest truth
that
is,
brings you out of that story.
You shouldn't have to do that in a comic book. It should just flow naturally.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder too if the thought behind that is to like maybe show. Well, for one thing, I guess it might look better if we had it in print.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I'm reading a 2-page view on a big screen.
But I kind of
Yeah.
wonder if the whole idea behind that
The
is
chaos.
to kind of make you confused because the situation is confusing.
Showcase all the crazy stuff happening in the room, all the guns going off, people dying and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's just a confusing situation, so they try to make
I can see
it harder
that.
to read and more confusing.
Sure.
Maybe.
I
I'm
get
not saying
that,
it's good.
but there are much better ways to go about doing
yeah.
that than making it like, because it takes you out of the story.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I mean, it just if I have to double back and read a page, that's like go back to watching a movie. It's like having to rewind for 2 minutes and rewatch a scene. That obviously you shouldn't have to do that in a movie. You shouldn't have to do that in a comic book either.
True.
So I give
That's
points
what
off
novels are for.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Truth.
But at the same time, there are panels and pages like this page where she's in the shower or whatever. I really like the layout of that page. Other than the giant white strokes on the why do you need those?
You don't like those borders?
I never like. I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of just throwing big white lines on things, or black lines on things. But I do think that very bottom panel there where she's showering, that's a very well laid out panel, and it's pretty well drawn and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has its ups and downs for sure.
Right.
Overall, I think I give this one... I think I give this issue a 6, probably. 6.5. I mean, it's good. It's not great by any means, though. I don't know. What would you rate it, Mondo?
I'd probably say a 7.
7?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed the story a lot, but like you were all saying, the art took me out of it a little bit in the panel layouts at times. But otherwise, for the story, I'll give it a 7, just where it's going. So
yeah. Yeah, 6.5 for me, I think, is where I'm at. Yeah, I'm close. We're generally pretty close. Yeah. I just have to be argumentative, you know.
No, we got to have some of that. Yeah. Can't all be agreeing.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So we got a few minutes left here. You want to cover Moonshine for us, Mondo?
Yeah, I'll give you a really short and sweet summary, I guess. So I had to go back and read 3 because I never got a chance to read that one, so I read that one too. So I'll just kind of tie them both together. So between 3 and 4, so they pick up on 3 where he wakes up and the lady and the kids in the woods, they live like, I'm not sure, they're just backwoods people or something like that. They just live out in the woods, African-American lady and the kids or whatever. And they find him and he wakes up and they're like having some banter a little bit. And she's like, you've been talking in your sleep. You have a sister. And he's like, well, I have 2 sisters. And so they kind of get a little bit of backstory on him just briefly. Mm-hmm. But in these 2 issues, it's a lot of tension between Joe, the guy that Lou Perillo, he's the main character that he works for, his boss, wanting to the moonshine recipe and all that stuff from Hiram, who is the guy who has the distillery.
Okay.
So it's his family, basically. These guys out in the backwoods of like Georgia, wherever they're at. And then Joe, who's from the city, he's like the big kingpin guy who sent Lou Perillo out here to do this. So it's just basically a lot of tension between those 2 going at it. They even there's some parts where they kill each other and stuff because Lou is kind of just like, oh, I'm here. And, well, you're going to get drunk with us. And it goes back and forth. It's kind of confusing at times. Anybody else get the chance to read this too, by chance? No?
A little bit.
Okay. It was really confusing at times because I don't know if the moonshine stuff is making him turn into like the werewolf thing or what. But I tried to draw some correlation with that because there were times where he'd drink it and he'd be drunk and then a fight would burst out between because this guy showed like, where you been? And he was out for a while.
Right.
Oh.
And then he's drinking it and they're like, you're lit. You're drunk as hell, and they're like, he's like, blah, blah. And then the guys from the backwoods guys that live out in the sticks or whatever, they're like, oh, what are you city boys doing here? And then they have a firefight and everything. Mm-hmm. And then you wake up and it just shows all these guys that are shredded. Now, bullets will put holes in people, but nobody gets their torso ripped off by bullets. So it's like, Did he change and like murder these guys? There's a guy hanging out of the window of a car and then people's heads are ripped off and stuff. So it's like, it's not really telling us a lot of stuff. It's leaving a lot to ambiguity on that stuff. Yeah. But I don't know. I guess it'll open up more later. So it does have my interest in that fashion because I want to know what's going on with that. But so that continues with that kind of thing. Lou goes to seek out the Tempest at some point here because so after that firefight and everything, Hiram and his guys, they are having a funeral for, I believe, is one of Hiram's sons from the earlier issues. I was in the car. They're trying to double cross Hiram. Right. They're going to help the guys from the city. And so they take Lou and they put him in a grave that they dug for the guy, for his son that they're going to bury. And one of the guys, the henchman, puts a gun in his face and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna kill you for killing so and so." But Hiram stops him, and then Lou weaves this little lie back to them, saying, "Hey, he was gonna double cross you. He's been working with me this whole time. I'm just doing what I'm told. He was gonna double cross you. We can figure this out." So he pretty much sweet talks his way out of the situation. He seeks out the Tempest. And she's like some kind of like oracle kind of person. It seems like she knows things. I don't know. I was confused. That's why
wasn't Tempest the daughter of Hiram?
Is she the daughter? I can't remember. It starts to run together a little bit.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be. It's
kind of confusing.
It's very hard to follow.
Yeah, and so he goes to see her out in the woods or whatever. Oh, yep, and then the brother was there, too. That was kind of like he's going to change at one point and kill him toward the end there. And she's like, no, leave him alone. We got things to deal with. And it basically ends with where they're chatting each other up and that they're going to continue to do their plan of backstabbing Hiram.
Okay.
And getting his moonshine to the city and everything. And then she drops all her clothes off, and so does Lou. And then they walk them to the woods together. And that's where it ends. So I don't know if they change or they go and they get it on or what's going on. Maybe they get it on when they change. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was a crazy two issues that I read, and I was a little confused here and there, but I got the gist of what's going on, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of.
I'm sorry if that was crazy.
No, I dropped off of this one because it's been a little confusing for me as well.
I can see myself losing interest in it just because of that.
I started reading this one, and I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
And I started at number 1, and
Yeah.
it's still, I don't know. Yeah.
I feel like it'd be nice to pick it up as a trade, maybe, when you can kind of get everything all at once.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. Like it's confusing enough as you're reading it, and then waiting a month to read the next one.
That's exactly what it is.
I've kind of forgotten what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be the asshole here or anything, but with all the good books that are out there, I cannot recommend that someone buy this one as a trade or a comic book. I just think there's way better titles out there that you could be spending your money on right now, and I'm not. We get review copies, and I just I don't think I'm going to continue.
And it's super
reading
disappointing because it came off when you had that reveal in that first. I think it was at the end of the first issue where the guy gets attacked and the guy turns into a werewolf and gets attacked. I was like, oh shit, this just got crazy. You got my interest, and then it just kind of confused me after that.
But even then, man, like. I don't know. It took till the end of the second issue to reveal that there's some type of paranormal stuff happening here.
Right.
That should happen at the end of the first issue, I think. Like, you shouldn't lead people on, like, you need to hook people on the first
Before
issue.
that, yeah.
I mean, if you want people... Because if I bought issue number 1 and I wasn't getting review copies, there's no way I would have bought issue number 2.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine... I don't know, maybe sales are good for it. I'd be interested to see what they look like. So, you got a star rating for us?
I'd probably give it like a 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because of the confusion. Like, it could have been such a great story. Like, I don't know. It didn't move me enough. It had my hook. It had the hooks in me before, and then it just dropped off.
So do you think it's the way the story is being told, or do you think it's the story itself?
I kind of wonder if a lot of it is the way it's being told.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there'd be a better way to show what's going on.
Because if I had to write if I had to give you like a quick summary of what's going on, it's city people want this recipe of this guy who lives out in the sticks.
Well, they don't even want the recipe; they want to specifically just buy it from him.
Yeah, they want it, and so it's kind of this thing where it's like city folk wanting to go against the country folk, and they want this family recipe or family, they want this, and they're having a battle about it, and some backstabby stuff going on in the background.
And that's the part of it too. Is like, why wouldn't you want to sell your moonshine to people who want to pay you good money for it? Like,
but it's that classic trope though, where it's like the country guy doesn't want to give up what he has because this is all about family and keeping it internal, and this, they want to exploit and give you money.
Lots of money.
Sell out so fast. Here, take my moonshine. Give me millions. Thank you. Bye.
It's that classic story though, where
drink Budweiser for $1 million. Sure.
I'm not selling out to you country folk. I mean, to you city boys. You know what I mean? It's that whole trope.
Yeah,
is what they're doing.
It's interesting though because Brian Azzarello, who writes this, like I'm not super familiar with him, but like I kind of just Googled him. It looks like he's done a lot of writing for Batman and Wonder Woman.
Oh, Azzarello, he did good Wonder Woman stuff. So
and that's like some of the New 52 stuff, which was really, for Wonder Woman. At least,
no,
really
he's a good writer. Yeah, it's just not something
strange.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm like maybe there is it the writing or would it be like the paneling? Like
it's
is
just
it a
the writing. I think.
I think it's a combination of stuff. I mean, the story you can tell if you read it that there's something there, but it dropped off for me and I lost on it. So I hate saying it, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, we are out of time here, but if you do want to continue listening to the show, you can do so at patreon.com/IndieComicNinja, where we are going to continue talking about stuff. I don't know. We'll figure something out. So, if you want to find me anywhere, I am Nerd Church Radio everywhere. That's the DC Comics podcast that I run. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. So where can we find you, Mondo?
You can find me at Nerdy Ramondo on Instagram and Twitter. Soon for Glitch Therapy as well, but we'll get into that later.
Awesome.
Yep, and you can find me at Andrew Southern on Twitter and Instagram, and StudioSouthern.com I have some prints and some shirts up.
Yeah,
awesome,
buddy.
And Dexter?
Indie Comic Ninja. And if you go to Twitter right now, I have a fun little poll for what your favorite indie publisher might be. So
nice.
I'd be very interested if you could respond to that and maybe do a reply and tell me what you're reading.
Cool.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, we want to how long does that poll last for?
I put it up for a week.
For a week?
Yeah.
How many people we got on it now?
Not quite 20.
Okay.
For about a day, the last day.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's a good response. There's nobody who apparently likes Dark Horse.
So if you,
why?
If you
can you pin that to your profile?
Yeah.
Pin it to the top, and if you vote on that, I'll send you a copy.
Hey.
I'll send one of the voters a copy of God Country #1.
There we go.
Yeah, cool.
Voter.
So, so just vote on that, and I'll send one of you guys a copy of God Country #1. Yep, so awesome. Okay, well, with that, I'm going to sign us off and get things moving on to the post show. Have a great week, everyone.